Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Only one type of burger. For every pallet. Fries are extra. Large in size. We've got the shakes. Going over the brim.
Hey, this is Chris from JCW's. Put a positive, delicious spin on your day at any one of our 5 locations. In Lehigh, American Fork, Provo, South Jordan, or Harriman. JCW's, quality and a lot of it.
Welcome back in, man. The sequel, the reprise, The Godfather. Vito Monson is joining us right now. Riley Jensen sitting in for DJ. Vito, I am metaphorically and symbolically kissing you on the back of your wrist right now.
Wow, PK, I'll tell you this much. I am honored since I know that is your favorite movie of all time. So, yeah, I won't even bring up anything about the cannoli, all right? I just won't.
There you go, my man. Gordon Monson joining us on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Gordon, a lot of stuff going on in the world of sports. And this is a little bit of a week-old or so story, but I still want to get your thoughts on this. I mean, this Kyle Whittingham situation, I'm trying to think, you and I got about 80 years of experience in this business, and I don't know that I've ever seen or witnessed anything that is like this, the way it happened, the way it went down, and we saw the documents that were released and all, and wasn't a complete surprise to me because I'd spoken with the family and all that stuff. But just what did you make of it? Because it is really bizarre, all the things that transpired.
Yeah, I think it was just messed up from the beginning on the Utah side of things. Those administrators could have done things differently. I mean, you're talking about Kyle freaking Whittingham here. You're not talking about some guy who came in and coached for 6 or 7 years and then was jumping to another job or was interested in another job. No. Yeah, they want more money. He wanted more money. Did he want respect? Yeah, he wanted respect. But and Utah just wasn't willing to give it to him. And look, I have a lot of respect for Morgan Scalley, but the way Morgan's in waiting, you got a guy over here, you got boosters who want Morgan Scalley elevated for whatever reason. They thought Kyle was mailing it in a little bit. That's funny when you mail it in with an 11-win season. Yeah. But they thought that it was time for a change, and they wanted it, and those were powerful people, and Kyle got roughed up out the door, and so next thing you know, he's Michigan's over there going, hey, this guy's pretty good. I think we want him. And so for him to go, it was just – remember that day, PK, we were there talking with him, and you could tell something was up. And the way he knew everything that had gone down in the past, and he knew what he was going to do moving forward, and he was excited to do it at that point.
Yeah, for sure. And Riley and
I'm not saying – by the way, PK, I'm not saying that Kyle is totally innocent in all this. I mean, there's two sides to every story. I just think that it could have been avoided, and it should have been avoided, because you know this better than anyone, because you're more clued in than anyone on this whole subject, and that is that Kyle would have stayed had he been, if he'd felt a certain way. Now, whether the fans out there think he deserved more money, deserved to be treated a certain way, then that's up for them to decide.
How about the pressure that is now on Mark Harlan and Morgan Scalley to make sure this thing continues?
Yeah, as I said, I have a lot of respect for Morgan. But the first time you do anything, right. Yeah. It's difficult. And so it'll be difficult for Morgan. He's really smart. You know him really well. Yeah. PK, and Jake and I went over to listen to him give a presentation to some of the media people. And I don't know how you can talk to Morgan Scally for more than 5 minutes and not be impressed with his conscientiousness, his brain power. I mean, I think this is a really sharp dude. But as I said, first time you do anything, it's kind of I don't know whether anybody's ever done statistics on that. I don't know how you could do it. And not just coaching, it's teaching, it's any kind of business, any kind of workplace. It takes a while to get used to it. So we'll see where it goes from here.
Especially
and,
football.
The fans are all looking at this. This is under the microscope, and everyone's going to be watching to see what happens and then making further judgments.
I think he's been pretty impressive, at least from what I can see in his answers of difficult questions. And I think the modern-day coach has to be very, very savvy as far as the media goes, as far as politics goes, as far as, a lot of different things that are going on with boosters. Have you seen anything that maybe he needs to work on? Because I think for the most part, people are feeling pretty good about him, but you're always undefeated until you get to the season.
Yeah, and you saw what the team did in the bowl game. So, I mean, he's got it going pretty good so far. No, I really haven't seen any glitches evident to people on the outside. It really comes down to, this, Riley. By the way, PK, I remember the first time I ever talked to Riley. I interviewed him when he was a quarterback at BYU.
Oh, you did?
You did. That was a good memory for me. You actually, I felt like you treated me very fairly, and so I've always had a lot of respect.
So you're the one.
I'm the one.
No, I was interviewing Riley, and I was asking him all these goofy questions about what his favorite flower was, and all just really kind of just stupid stuff. But he had it together all the way back then. He was probably a fair to Midland quarterback. I don't know. How would you rate yourself, Riley? Were you happy
average
with your career?
Bang average. I would say I was bang average. I don't know. At the time you interviewed me, though, I was riding some momentum.
He's a first-team all-whacker.
I was coming off an All-American season at Snow, and I thought that it had a lot to do with me. It took some lessons to learn that really being a good quarterback is about having good guys around you. So,
well, I'll tell you, you've learned every side of the mental game that can be learned. So you got a lot of respect. Always had a lot of respect for the way you approach the game and the way you sort of help others figure it out on their own. What the hell was your question again?
Wasn't it your question, PK?
No, it was you.
I don't even remember my question.
It was the question. How you hanging out? Where are you?
I'm in San Bernardino.
I'm in San Bernardino. PK, that will never die, will it? Just never die.
I think it's 1A and 1B. I think the top three bloopers are how you hanging on, where are you, first team all whacker, and you don't sound like a Debbie.
How you hanging on, where are you?
I'm in San Bernardino right now.
That was the all-time longest question anybody ever asked. I plead guilty on that one for sure. But anyway, whatever your question was, I'm sure it was a good one.
I think it was pretty good too. I have no idea. That might be CTE talking right now.
We're talking to Gordon Monson. You can read his stuff at the Tribune, obviously. And I want to switch to Kevin Young with his BYU basketball season. We're talking about, they didn't achieve expectations. Was it a bust? Blah, blah, blah. You can have your own opinions on all that. But going forward, we've been following BYU hoop for, again, between us, the two of us, for 60 years, right? And we know how they went about doing things. So the season is over and no point rehashing it. But just as Kevin Young goes to construct a roster, because that's the reality in college basketball, is every season is virtually so brand new with the composition of the roster with these free agents every year, obviously. What do you think that he needs to do as far as getting guys to get a team rather than try to pay as much money to a couple of guys at the top and then a bunch of journeymen filling it out? There might be a better way there.
Well, and everyone's in a hurry, right? Because you get these star players and you're only going to have them for a certain amount of time. So you got to bring them together and meld it together as quickly as possible. You know, the funny thing about this last year, BYU's team, it was the opposite of all those teams, PK, that we had covered for so many years.
Exactly.
All of those BYU teams had a bunch of guys who were really good ward ball players, really good, team kind of guys, but they weren't great players. I'm talking on the whole here.
Yeah, I understand.
And this time you have great players, but you don't have the team working. You have a bunch of iso ball out there, guys who can't really help each other in the way that's necessary. And if they did help each other, the Bansa, if he's helping somebody, then someone's going to miss the shot.
Yeah.
So it was just really weird this year. I don't think I've ever seen a BYU team like that. And of course, BYU rarely, if ever, has had a player like AJ was. So Kevin Young has to find guys, glue guys, as they say, guys who can come together and work together and be a team. I mean, there are a lot of people who think last year's team was better than this year's team.
Yeah.
And they're not saying something because, well, they had the point guard, Demon, or however you pronounce his name now. But, yeah. So they had some talent last year, but it seemed like they played more cohesively. And so that has to be the goal. That and what Kevin Young said. He said, I got to find some shooters. Guys who can hit shots when they're open. I didn't count this year how many missed shots, open shots happened, but it happened again and again and again. And not just open jumpers, but also missed chip shots, in close. And that just really hurt BYU. Plus, they got to find some defenders, somebody who's willing to sacrifice. And that comes back to the very same topic that you were bringing the conversation to. Because when you have guys who are willing to dive on the floor and play the kind of defense necessary to win, then, that has an effect on the entire team. So that's what Kevin has to do, I think. But these people who are complaining about BYU and complaining about Kevin Young and saying he's overpaid and this system will fail, it doesn't have to fail. It can be really great if he can find a way to get guys in the right positions, doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason. And, I'm not sure how good a coach Kevin Young is. I think we're all just sort of paying attention to see how it goes. I think he's good, and I think the fact that BYU has him bodes well for the future because I think the system can work. There's no reason to junk it. You and I, as you said, watched BYU teams for so long who you knew they were going to win 20-some games and they were going to lose in the first round of the tournament. And that can get old, too.
Yeah.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA is heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Hi, this is Alex Kantrowitz. I'm the host of Big Technology Podcast, a longtime reporter and an on-air contributor to CNBC. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how artificial intelligence is changing the business world and our lives. So each week on Big Technology, I bring on key actors from companies building AI tech and outsiders trying to influence it. Asking where this is all going. They come from places like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and plenty more. So if you want to be smart with your wallet, your career choices, in meetings with your colleagues, and at dinner parties, listen to Big Technology Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you know dental pain is the top reason children miss school? Dental disease in children is almost entirely preventable. Good habits start early with brushing, regular dental visits, and fluoride protection. Your smile matters. Find resources at yoursmileutah.org.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
I've got no problem with Kevin Young trying to reach for the stars and trying to bring this program to places that it hasn't been consistently. Occasionally, maybe. When you get the Player of the Year, they go to the Sweet 16. Last year was the first time since 81 that they've gone to the Sweet 16, and they literally did not have the Player of the Year because Ainge and Fredette obviously were. So I'm not willing to crack on him because I think that it goes back to what you said about Scally. You know, Scally's learning curve, he's going to have it, right? It doesn't matter. I can remember talking to Bronco, and I'm sure you did too, where when he got it rolling in like year 3 and 4, he would openly joke, at least to me, if he trusted you, and I think he trusted us, that hey, I had no idea what I was doing. Kyle Whittingham will tell you a little bit about that. Bronco will be a little more open. And those guys were defensive coordinators. They came from the same stock that Scally had, right? So they will tell you that. So that seems to lead you to believe that Scally's going to have a learning curve. It's just the way it is. But then you go to Kevin Young, who hasn't been in college basketball. He's only been in college basketball for 2 years. And to think that he's going to walk on water right off the bat, and the way college basketball is run, it's only been run like this for 3 or 4 years, right? Because it's changed dramatically. So you got to allow the guy to adapt, to figure out what is what he needs to do, how he needs to go about it. And so I think that as he gets his knowledge and the whole staff, they got a lot of dudes that work for him, figure this out, we're going to see a more of a complete team, because I don't think in the history of BYU basketball going forward, not just going behind, we've never seen the gap from the top to the middle. Forget about the top to the bottom. The gap in talent from the top to the middle was enormous, and I think he's going to close that gap, and so they'll be better prepared and can withstand things that they couldn't this season.
And you mentioned Morgan Scally in connection with Kevin Young, and Jake will back me on this. When we were over there talking to Morgan and listening to him, he said something, and Jake, I don't know if you remember this, but he kept talking about learning from mistakes. And that really surprised me, because of the reason that we're all examining him, and he was willing to say, hey, I'm going to make mistakes, but that's how you learn. That's how you move forward. There are some who say once you reach a certain level, you shouldn't make those mistakes. You should already have all that ironed out. But I don't know how realistic that is, even at the high level of college football and basketball. So Kevin Young's going to be okay because he can get these guys in. He knows basketball well enough, and I think he knows personalities well enough to bring it all together. And we can bring up the injuries if you want. That did play a part. I mean, everybody gets tired of hearing that after a while, but I think that did play a role in BYU's demise.
I think shifting gears just a little bit, I think the world feels a little bit more correct with BYU and Utah in the same conference. And you wrote an article, I don't know, a few days ago, I think, just talking about the Utah and Utah State football game being played again. I mean, do you think these games will actually feel like rivalry games again? Does it really matter? Why does it matter? I mean, besides the fact that maybe it's fun to see Bronco competing against the University of Utah again, do these games matter?
I think they matter, but I'm a little bit of a traditionalist in that regard. I like it when teams from in-state play one another, especially when there are other games on the schedule that are dogs.
Yeah.
So why not play each other? And I know it gets complicated, the calculus involved in getting all this scheduled. It can be difficult at times. But speaking of mistakes, I think I kind of made a mistake when Utah went to the Pac-12 and BYU went independent. I thought the rivalry would be as strong as it ever was. And I expressed that opinion. I think you're right. You're onto something there, Riley. I think it does have an effect to some degree when teams aren't in the same league together. I think that reignited the rivalry between BYU and Utah. But still, it doesn't matter to me that Utah State isn't in the Big 12 with Utah and BYU. They should play. Why? Because it's good for the fans. I know there are some sort of highfalutin fans for the Utes and Cougars who think we're too good for that. We don't need that. And maybe they're sort of recognizing that sometimes those games can be tougher than playing Southwest Presbyterian State or someone else. But those games are just throwaway games anyway. Why not play the Aggies?
Yeah, and if there's one thing I hate, Gordon, it's highfalutin fans. I've told you that time and time again.
PK, it's good to be on with you again, man.
He is one.
What word did I use one time? You said, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what
like
that
like
word
a
is.
horticulturist.
See, if he'd gone to Utah State, he would have known that word like no problem.
I know.
I hoarded something in my life, but it wasn't culture.
I think that's evident to just about all your listeners.
And let me tell you about family too, man.
This is what's good. When you reach a certain age, you got a story about everything. Right?
It's just a question of whether you can remember it.
Hey, I'm getting there. I'm catching you guys. I ate a 52 burger this year, Gordon. It's not. That interview at BYU was a long time ago.
Yeah, he went back and wrote it up on his typewriter.
Or I think I might have used a quill. I don't know.
A fountain pen?
I mean, I know you're trying to get the story back by using some some old Pony Express like wires to get it back. But
kids today.
I'm gonna see if I can dig that thing up now, and if I can, I'll send it to you. But I can't remember. I remember being impressed by you. I will say that. I was impressed by you, but I can't remember the specifics.
You said so many nice things, I forgot the question I asked you. So just stop it some more, would you? Stop it some more.
I mean,
You'll give me
Logan.
15 minutes. You'll give me 15 minutes to quit talking like this. Right?
Exactly.
All right, Gordon, we got to roll. Thanks for your time.
All right, man. Hey, save the cannoli.
Okay, there you go. What was it? Leave the gun, take the cannolis. There you go. All right. Appreciate him coming up and giving us some time here this morning. Coming up next, we'll get you caught up on what you missed. A bunch of stuff going on in the world of sports. Stay with us. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
You deserve to feel better today. At Harper Clinic, patients report sleeping deeper, thinking clearer, and feeling stronger because mental health care is more than emotions. It's about your whole body. Work to lower your blood pressure, even boost your immune system. Get help to manage stress, focus, and reconnect. If you're facing anxiety, depression, or just feeling stuck, call Harper Clinic, 801-306-2345, 801-306-2345 to start feeling better.